as you get older,
Yep.
you have to look at things in a different way.
I'm keeping my fucking hands up.
I'm not reaching for no gun, bro.
Step out.
Can I move my phone?
Unlock all kind of strip clubs in Omaha. We don't know. This is musty. This is disgusting at the highest level.
Floyd Mayweather has taken another sharp shot at Terence Crawford following Crawford's recent public incident. Commenting on Crawford's over-the-top celebration after defeating Canelo Alvarez, Mayweather dismissed his behavior. He suggested that if a win over Canelo makes Crawford act as if he owns the sport, then a victory against greater legends would have gone to his head entirely. Mayweather stated that every athlete should understand their true standing, implying Crawford's reaction proved he couldn't handle a success that Mayweather himself managed with ease years prior, simply because Crawford isn't at that same legendary tier.
Another point. Floyd Mayweather, he don't carry no guns. Floyd don't carry guns.
Mayweather's critique extended beyond the sport. He also addressed Crawford's troubles outside the ring, referencing the fighter's recent incident with local police. Mayweather called it an unfortunate and embarrassing situation, stressing that Crawford should be celebrating his victory and legacy with his family instead of making negative headlines.
Between Terence Crawford and Floyd Mayweather. We've even had the conversation to go as far as who would win in the fight between Terence and Floyd. And I truly don't know the answer to that question.
I do.
You do?
Yes.
Yeah. Who will win that fight?
Floyd.
Floyd will win that
yes,
fight.
Yes, sir. I love you, Terence.
Always figures it out.
Yeah, he's a chess master.
Yeah, his IQ in that shit is crazy.
The headlines Floyd mentioned started early this morning in downtown Omaha, just hours after a major parade was held there to honor Crawford's win over Canelo, where the fighter was the guest of honor. The night took a sharp turn. According to Omaha police, around 1:30 a.m., officers spotted a car driving dangerously near North 12th Street and Capitol Avenue. They pulled the vehicle over on Cass Street. Inside were 4 people, including Crawford and his head of security, Qasim Shabazz.
I'm not reaching for no gun, bro.
Step out.
Can I move my phone?
Bug Crawford being harassed by cops and pulled over by the cops right after the parade. This is diabolical.
Police released a statement later that day detailing what happened. They explained that while officers were speaking with the driver, one of them noticed a loaded firearm on the floor near the driver's seat. For safety, all 4 occupants were ordered out of the vehicle at gunpoint. After checking their identification, the driver was confirmed to be Terence Crawford, who was ticketed for reckless driving. The statement also clarified the situation with the firearms found, noting that one passenger, a member of Crawford's security team, was legally carrying a weapon. The department stressed that all 4 individuals in the car had valid permits to carry firearms.
Once they had stopped, Crawford was identified as the driver. According to police, officers observed a firearm on the floorboard on the driver's side. All 4 people, including members of Crawford's security team, were ordered out of the vehicle at gunpoint. I spoke with the head of Crawford's security this afternoon, who says he's still shaken up.
Fans who had cheered for him at the parade just hours earlier now watched as the champion was placed in handcuffs on Cass Street. Many expressed frustration, feeling the incident overshadowed what should have been a proud weekend for Omaha. Others criticized Crawford directly, blaming him for reckless driving and poor judgment. A local news station quoted an officer from the scene who stated the firearm became visible when Crawford leaned down to retrieve his license and registration.
Clip to show you guys right now. But isn't that a policeman holding a gun to the 3-time undisputed world champ Terence Bud Crawford's head? What did he do that was so bad that you had to pull him over?
The officer clarified that when Crawford leaned forward, a firearm became visible near his feet. This discovery led to the command for everyone to exit the vehicle at gunpoint. According to the same report, all 4 individuals were handcuffed while officers secured the scene. During the stop, Crawford was heard repeatedly stating he was not reaching for the weapon, keeping his hands raised and affirming his cooperation.
Nightmare. You know, future husband, just had a brand new child and, you know, children and, you know, and stuff like that. And to know that I almost lost my life last night. because we had a police officer that don't know how to articulate a traffic stop.
This point was later backed by his head of security, Qasim Shabazz, who gave a conflicting account. Shabazz stated that Crawford never reached for any documents because he didn't have them with him, having already informed the officer they were left at home. He had already told them, so there was no reason for him to reach for anything, Shabazz said. He added that both he and Crawford notified the officers immediately that they were legally carrying firearms, as Nebraska law requires. Despite this transparency, the situation intensified. Shabazz recalled, "I said, I have a firearm too. The cop on my side just went ballistic, totally unhinged. He started yelling, 'Get your hands up. Get out the car. Don't reach.' But there was never a physical gun in sight." Shabazz said the tension was extreme, adding, "Everyone thought we were going to die, man."
I'm not reaching for no gun, bro. Can I move my... You telling me the police at Omaha don't know who Terence Crawford is? Putting a gun in his face? Ridiculous.
Shabazz also disputed the reckless driving claim. He said Crawford directly asked the officer if radar was used to gauge his speed, and the officer admitted it wasn't. According to Shabazz, Crawford asked, "Well, how do you know I was speeding if you don't have radar?" Shabazz claims to have recorded the interaction, including the officer stating on camera, "I cannot. I admit that I do not have radar."
In Omaha, after receiving the keys to the city? Huh? Hey, yo, that cop gotta be some hater, bro. Hey, yo, that's like the NYPD holding Derek Jeter on gunpoint and arresting him after the Yankee championship parade in New York City, bro. It doesn't make sense. It wouldn't even happen, bro. It wouldn't even happen. So this cop gotta be some...
This contradiction between the official report and Shabazz's account has intensified the debate. Crawford's team points to Shabazz's statement as proof the traffic stop was mishandled. Others counter that reckless driving can be determined visually, without radar. Shabazz described the atmosphere in the car as intensely frightening. All 4 passengers were handcuffed during the stop, which he felt was an unnecessary escalation after they had been upfront about their firearms and tried to cooperate. At Crawford's urging, a police supervisor and a lieutenant were called to the scene. Their arrival helped oversee the remainder of the interaction before the citation was issued.
I think we should just let the man enjoy his great moment. He's a great fighter. And I see a lot of immature stuff, and I don't like the way things is going.
By that point, however, videos of the incident were already spreading online, framing the public's understanding. Fans are now divided, debating whether the police overreacted or if Crawford put himself in a risky position. Some view the event as a stain on what was otherwise a celebratory day for Omaha. Others agree with Mayweather's critique, believing a fighter of Crawford's status should avoid being at the center of such a scene. In response to the attention, Omaha Police Chief Todd Schmader has ordered an internal affairs investigation to review the officer's conduct. Mayor Jean Stothert has voiced her support, confirming she and the chief are aware of the widely shared video. The review will specifically examine whether proper procedures were followed when the firearm was seen and when passengers were ordered out at gunpoint.
But they come up with guns drawn.
Wow, he had his gun drawn. Here's what TMZ wrote. Terence Crawford ordered out of the car by a cop holding a gun on a video. It says Terence Crawford was forced out of a car at gunpoint by police officers with tense exchange caught on video, and it's leading to an internal...
For now, the only official charge against Crawford is reckless driving. Police have confirmed that all firearms in the vehicle were legally owned and that no further charges will be filed. The stark contrast between the city's daytime parade and the late-night police stop has defined this weekend. Residents who cheered along the streets earlier now see headlines about their champion being removed from his car at gunpoint. On social media, reactions range from disbelief to blame. Some fans called it the wildest 24 hours for a local hero. Others accused police of singling Crawford out, while critics insisted he should have avoided driving so late altogether.
Investigation, but the damage is already done, my guy. The damage is already done. I'll be surprised if Terence Bud Crawford comes back to the city just disrespectful to the face of boxing. Not saying that the man's above the law, but Lord child, what was y'all doing? Gunpoint?
Mayweather has stirred the conversation further by framing the incident as a key difference in their legacies. According to Floyd, a true legacy isn't just about wins in the ring, but also about the decisions a fighter makes under intense public scrutiny. He believes Crawford tarnished his own celebration by finding himself in handcuffs on the very night the city honored him.
Mayweather, I thought, took on some pretty tough 154-pounders and it was in a young Canelo and a very tough Cotto who was punching very hard from 40 to 54. You know, remember Cotto had knocked out Delvin Rodriguez at 54. He'd still done some damage at 54, and I thought
won a title at 60.
Yeah, and I thought he knocked out Martinez at 60, and I thought he gave Mayweather a pretty good fight at 54.
Crawford's team has remained mostly silent, offering only a brief initial statement. His spokesperson confirmed on Sunday that he would not be commenting further. There has been no additional response from him or his camp regarding the ticket, the police reports, or Shabazz's story. For now, the internal affairs investigation is ongoing and the citation remains. Even as the feud between Mayweather and Crawford intensifies, the wider boxing community is weighing in. With names this prominent, it's no surprise that fellow legends, analysts, and promoters are all adding their own perspectives to the debate.
Go off of that, Floyd is the best fighter, in his era, and I feel like I'm the best fighter in my era.
Never one to avoid a discussion about Mayweather, Oscar De La Hoya made his stance clear. He dismissed the idea that Crawford's victory over Canelo brings him anywhere near Floyd's level. To Oscar, the comparison is flawed. He pointed out that Mayweather faced a younger, fresher, and arguably more dangerous version of Canelo and dominated him completely. Crawford, in contrast, had to battle through all 12 rounds to earn his win. That's why De La Hoya insists the gap between the two fighters remains vast. In his view, Mayweather was already boxing royalty long before Canelo ever shared the ring with him.
But all them kept saying, both them, keep boxing, keep boxing.
Does anybody know where Bo is?
Moving to another voice in the debate, analyst Max Kellerman approached it differently. Known for avoiding oversimplified takes, he stressed that this isn't just about comparing a single shared opponent. Kellerman highlighted how Mayweather constructed his legendary status through unparalleled defensive skill, a style that mentally defeated his opponents before the fight even began.
What he got to shield him. He got a lot of security guards around him, and he's in the limelight and stuff like that, but in certain situations, he wouldn't be acting like that.
Do you like him as a fighter, though?
Yeah, he's a damn good fighter.
Yeah.
But, his core personality and his ways.
With Money Mayweather. Why is that the option? Well, for a few reasons. One, because Floyd doesn't like anybody being called the best while he's still living. So, that's number one. Number two, they have been compared to each other since the fight, because Canelo Alvarez says, well, I think he's better than Floyd. So now they're starting to give the
torch to the right guy. He lost it to Terence fair and square, and he passed the torch. So if you're gonna have another fight, cool, but you don't need to. You have nothing. He has nothing to prove. He fought Terence and nobody else would.
Analysts also point to the difference in marketability, Floyd's charisma ability to play both hero and...
Crawford's greatness, he explained, comes from his ability to switch fighting styles mid-match, adapt to any challenge, and dismantle opponents in uniquely destructive ways. Kellerman's point was less about choosing a winner and more about appreciating two distinct paths to excellence. He described it as two different peaks in boxing, one simply arriving after the other.
Why do something when something else is working?
Easy answer.
Jeff Mayweather, on the other hand, defended Floyd by stressing the context often overlooked in these comparisons. By the time Floyd fought Canelo, he was already past his physical peak. Go
off of that, Floyd is the best fighter, in his era, and I feel like I'm the best fighter in my era.
One thing that I thought was really interesting about the fight, I always love watching you switch stances as effortlessly as you do. You didn't do that a lot in this fight. You didn't have to. Were you expecting not to have to?
No, I felt like I could have, but
fights, later down in the years. I think Crawford would just be able to break that defense. I don't know. The thing is about Terence Crawford, he has a very, very awkward style, very awkward foot movement.
That's all for now on the latest boxing news, highlights, and stories. For more, subscribe to Ring Headquarters and hit the notification bell so you're always in the know. Don't forget to check out our other videos. Thanks for watching, and until next time, take care and stay safe.